Okay, you see there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so always make sure you count how many standoffs there are on the back plate, because if you have one additional, then you stand a great chance of shorting out your board, and then, well, it's dead. Okay, so first off, what we're going to want to do, because positioning it is relatively simple. Now you want to make sure that you have it back on the rear IO side as well. So we'll go back there. Okay, and now I'm not going to screw it in just yet. Just going to align it. Forgot to remove that cable for the fan. Remove that. Gets in the way sometimes. Okay. Now we'll just align it. All right, you see that? Perfect. All right, you don't see any of these going into there. Actually, you do. So the Ethernet has little pieces that stick out. That way it rests right on top of the Ethernet ports. And you don't want those to go inside. That will short your board. Okay, and there we go. So now you don't see anything going in anywhere. Let me pop this guy out. Okay, and there we go. So now let's go ahead and screw it in. Okay, to start off with, we're going to be using the motherboard screws. These little guys right over here. They have a rounded off back. See right there? Okay. So now, luckily I have a magnetic tip screwdriver. I do recommend getting one. If not, you can always magnetize it yourself. And you don't want to screw these in incredibly tight, just tight enough so that it doesn't come loose later on for any weird reason. Okay, and now let's go for the lower screws. And last but not least, the bottom three. All right, so we're done inserting all 10 of the screws. Now, one thing I'm noticing as I'm installing this is right over here, there is a 6-pin PCIe. That is for those of you that have 3 or 4 video cards. It's blocked right here from the case. Let me zoom in so you can see that. All right, you can see that right here. It's facing down, so you can't get in there. Now, that's not to say all hope is lost. In the video that I made for the Anid's Crystal AI case, kind of had the same problem, except over here, right here and right here, those were solid. This was completely solid. So I had to cut out with a Dremel all of this so that I can actually access the entire bottom side of the motherboard. Here, my USB 3.0 works fine. So I don't really need to do it. I don't have 3 cards or 4 cards. You know, I only have 1 card. And so I don't really need to use that. Okay, this is an EATX board, so I'll put the measurements in the on the video so you could see it, and of course on the written review. But for those of you that might have this board or boards that have a 90-degree angle, just make sure if the 90-degree angle is somewhere, it's going to be over here. So be careful. All right, let me zoom out a little bit so you get a better view, just so you can see that. Okay, so right here is fine, directly under the PCIe slots, but towards the back of the board over here, right over here, that's where you might have an issue, and maybe right here in the center. Again, it is easily fixable with a Dremel. I did it in the other video. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know about that. Alright, so I did find a problem. The board states that it supports CEB motherboards, which is EATX essentially. Now the EVGA X99 classified is 10.357 inches in width. The CEB standard is 10.5 inches wide. And this might take the 10.5, but it has an issue with the 90-degree, being that down here for my SATA ports are 90-degree. The top one, I can't connect. For example, back here, I can connect the bottom one, no problem whatsoever. So, you know, top, and let me just move over a little bit so you can see. So you notice top and bottom here. Okay, but the problem is I can't fit the top one. So just unplug that one, and you see, and even if I came up from the top, I can't plug it in. It's not a huge problem for me because I have 3 SSDs and 2 mechanical drives, so I can get away with just putting all 5 like that all the way down. The other problem is for the power supply. The power supply is also at a 90-degree angle. So you can see right here, and I'm missing 4 of the pins just for the example though. You can see right here, it doesn't go. And if I were to do it from the front, it doesn't fit. It will fit if I bend this outwards. I just tested it real quick. So for example, so there could potentially be eventually a problem here. I'm not quite sure. And then, well, it just makes it a little bit easier to pull it out. Well, actually it doesn't make it easier, it's just about the same. So I can get it in there, it's just a little bit more difficult. These are things I'm not going to have a problem with, at least right now, but I definitely want to let you know because I'm reviewing this for you guys. I can continue. I wanted to show you this real quick. Now, when I install my liquid cooling, like most of you, we prefer to go on the top. The problem is, if you have tall memory like these, this is not going to fit. The liquid cooling unit won't fit up here. It hits right here, but thankfully we can install it right up here, right up in the front, like I've done with most of my cases. Okay, and then there is a little filter here, and the great thing about the filter is it's magnetic, so it comes off really easily. And I'll show you real quick. Okay, I'm just going to pull on it to open it up. Okay, so I just took off the face. The front of the case has this filter. So, which is great because, you know, right here it's going to be most of the time. And now you just take it off, you go wash it, dry it off real quick, put it back on, and it's going to block dirt as it normally would, dirt and dust and all that good stuff, and bugs and everything if you're dirty. No, but even if you're not dirty, bugs get in the house. But anyway, I was just kidding about that. So I'm gonna go ahead and now, since the motherboard is installed, I'm gonna go ahead and install the liquid cooling unit. Okay, so to do that, again, but I just take off that filter, and since I will be placing it in the front, I just put my liquid cooling unit right here. And now the Arctic Cooling Freezer 120 millimeter comes with 4 fans. So now I'm just going to put the other fans in front. Now we can put it at the very bottom, but the very bottom is where the power supply is going to go. Now mind you, the power supply is going to be in the back, but still, just to get proper cooling, some additional cooling over the video cards and everything, I'm going to put it right over here. I don't overclock, so it's not going to be a problem. There's not going to be hot air. It's going to be relatively cool air. If you do overclock, then you'll probably want to put the liquid cooling unit at the top. Again, if you do have short memory. All right, now just checking how it's going to fit. All right, there we go. All right, just screwing it in. And just in case we mess up, I'm not going to screw it in hard. Just right now, just to put things in place. Okay, now that we have all the screws in, we can screw it in a little tighter. All right, so we're done there. And again, thankfully it's as simple as just putting that grill right there. You don't have to screw it in, it's magnetic, so it fits in nicely. And then we just snap this back in place. All right, goes in easily. Now, one thing you, I'm sure, noticed, there were no fans in the front, and there are also no fans up on the top. So you will need to provide your own fans. Let's get more on the inside of the computer. All right, so that's what it looks like right now. Liquid cooling up here, nothing up here at the top. Now there is space up here at the top, and let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see it. Okay, so up here at the top, first off, we need to pull off the front again. Okay. And now taking off the top, okay, we see that there is cutouts here for the fans. Now there is space up here so that there can be the fan placed up here and maybe a fan placed down here. Now I'm gonna put this back on. I could in fact put my liquid cooling 120 millimeter liquid cooling up at the top if I remove the bottom fans and place the top fans above here. That would work, but I kind of prefer having the bottom fans. But again, just to let you know, you do have that flexibility You know, they give you quite a few options here on how you can do that. So now we're going to go ahead and install the video card and the PCIe SSD from Plex Store. So going to install the video card up here on the very first PCIe slot. Then I'm going to install the PCIe SSD on the 1, 2, 3 on the fourth PCIe slot. So the way that Cougar does this is a little bit different than a few others. Mostly they would have the PCIe retention mechanism right in here, so you could just screw that in right over here, and on the inside it retains the entire card. And I'm sorry, when I said PCIe retention mechanism, that's right over here, and I'll show you how that goes a little bit later on. But the way that the actual card stays in its spot from sagging down is right over here on most, on the inside of the case. Now, they've put it out here. So we have to first undo this screw to unlock this. After that, we have to get rid of this screw and this screw so that we can take off these two PCIe slot covers. So go ahead and do that right now for you. There's another one down here, I missed it. So we just take that one off. Okay, and the way this is made, it's going to fall right off, so just make sure you have your hand right there. Okay, this piece holds all the cards in place. Just in case you forget to put that screw back in right here, this will hold things in place. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove this one right here. Alright, it's going to fall out of the back, or should I say the inside of the case. So I'm just holding it, so when it does, okay, got it right here. And again, magnetized screw. There it is, or magnetized screwdriver. And now we're going to remove this guy too. I think I might have removed the top one incorrectly. I should have probably removed the second and third, but we'll find out in a second. That one fell down. Alright, and I'm going to show you how to install the video card, but I just want to see real quick if I did it incorrectly.